Have you ever seen your own shadow walking toward you on a busy street? Well, it feels strange. A shape that is yours, but not you. It moves when you move. It stops when you stop. The world is full of these shadows, these reflections. There once was a man who lived in a quiet town. He was a good man, but his heart was heavy with a secret sadness. He did not know why he was sad. It was like a low gray cloud that followed him everywhere. He felt that the world was a cold and unfriendly place. When he walked down the street, he saw only stern faces. People seemed to rush past him, their eyes hard and distant. He believed his town was full of unkind people. He would often complain to himself, thinking how lonely it was to be surrounded by so many cold hearts. He felt like an island in a sea of indifference. One morning, he decided to walk a different path. He went to a small park by a still lake. The water was like a perfect sheet of dark glass. He sat on a bench and looked across the surface. As he watched, he noticed his own reflection looking back at him. His brow was furrowed. His mouth was turned down in a sad, tight line. He saw the very same stern expression that he had seen on the faces of people in the street. In that moment, he was not just looking at water. He was looking at the source of the coldness he felt all around him. It was a shock, quiet and deep. The man stayed by the lake for a long time. He watched his face in the water. He thought about the people he met each day. The shopkeeper with the sharp voice. The neighbor who never said hello. The strangers who seemed to look right through him. He had always believed their coldness came from them. Now he wondered, was it possible that they were only reflecting the face he showed them? Was his own inner sadness painting the world in shades of gray? The next day, the man walked his usual path through the town. But this time, he carried the memory of his smile from the lake. He walked with a little more purpose, a little less weight in his shoulders. He went into the bakery to buy bread. The baker, a man he had always found to be gruff, impatient, was behind the counter. Usually the man would avoid eye contact, expecting a cold reception. But today, he looked up. He gave the baker a small, quiet nod and the beginning of a smile. He did not expect anything in return. He was simply trying his experiment. The baker seemed surprised. He stopped what he was doing for a brief moment. His own stern face softened, just a little. He returned the nod. "Good morning," the baker said. The words were simple. The man felt a small shift inside him. It was like a tiny crack of light in a dark room. The bread seemed to feel warmer in his hands as he left the shop. The world had not magically changed, but a small part of it had responded to him in a new way. It was a tiny piece of evidence. As he continued his walk, he saw his neighbor working in her garden. This was the woman who never said hello. She would always look away when he passed. Today, instead of hurrying by, the man paused. He looked at her flowers.
Your roses are beautiful this year.
His voice was quiet but clear. The woman looked up, startled. A look of confusion crossed her face, then it was replaced by something else. A faint, shy smile.
Thank you. The rain has been good for them.
They shared a moment of simple human connection. It was gone as quickly as it came, but it had happened. This story shows us a hidden law. What you see in others is often a reflection of what is inside you. It is a simple concept, but it is not easy to accept. When we feel anger, we tend to notice anger in others more easily. The world seems full of aggressive drivers, rude cashiers. This is the mirror at work. It is not that the world has suddenly become more hostile. It is that our own inner feeling is acting like a magnet. It pulls similar energies from the world into our awareness. Our anger looks for other anger to validate itself. It wants to prove that it is right to feel this way. The same is true for kindness. When you feel open and compassionate, you begin to see acts of kindness everywhere. You notice the person who holds a door open for a stranger. You hear the gentle tone in someone's voice. You see the patience of a parent with their child. These things were always there, but your inner state has changed your focus. You are now tuned to a different frequency. You are looking for the good, and so you find it. The world becomes a gentler, more hopeful place. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. You are seeing a different side of the same mirror. Think of it like a light. If you carry a bright light into a dark room, you see the details of the room. You see the colors, the furniture, the shapes. If you carry only a tiny candle, you see much less. You see mostly shadows and dark corners. The room is the same. The only thing that has changed is the amount of light you bring with you. Our inner state, our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs, is the light we carry. It determines what we are able to see in the world around us. It illuminates certain things and leaves others in darkness. This law is not about blame. It is not saying that if something bad happens, it is your fault. The world is complex, and people have their own stories. Section 5. The light and the shadow. Every person carries both light and shadow. The light is our kindness, courage, joy, love. It is the best part of ourselves. The shadow is our fear, anger, sadness, insecurity. It is the part of ourselves we often try to hide. We are taught to be ashamed of our shadow. We push it down into the dark, hoping no one will ever see it. But the shadow does not go away just because we ignore it. It stays there, waiting. And it often projects itself onto the world around us. We see our own hidden fears in the faces of others. When you have a strong negative reaction to someone, pay close attention. That person might be acting as a mirror for your own shadow. Is there a person at work you find incredibly arrogant? Perhaps they are reflecting a hidden insecurity in you about your own competence. Is there someone whose weakness irritates you beyond reason? Perhaps they are mirroring a part of yourself that you judge as weak and refuse to accept. The things that trigger us most intensely in others are often signposts. They point directly to the unhealed, unacknowledged parts of our own souls. They are gifts, wrapped in sandpaper. This is not an easy truth. It is much simpler to blame the other person. It feels better to say they are arrogant than to ask, what part of me feels small right now? It is easier to be angry at their weakness than to face your own. But blaming others keeps us trapped. It keeps us in a cycle of reaction, where we are constantly being pushed and pulled by the world around us. We remain a victim of the reflections. We see monsters in the mirror and believe they are real, without realizing they are born from our own hidden parts. The path to freedom is to turn and face the shadow. It is to look at the parts of ourselves we have disowned. This requires courage. It requires gentleness. It means admitting that you too have arrogance. You too have weakness. You too have fear. By acknowledging your own shadow, you take away its power to project itself onto others. Section 6. The stillness of the water. How do we begin this work? How do we learn to see the reflection for what it is? The first step is to find stillness. Just as the man in the story went to the still lake, we must find a place of inner quiet. Our minds are often like a stormy sea. Thoughts and emotions crash like waves, one after another. In this state, it is impossible to see a clear reflection. The surface is too disturbed. We see only chaos. We must allow the water to become calm. This can be done through a few moments of quiet breathing, a walk in nature, simply sitting in silence. In this quiet space, we can begin to observe. We can watch our thoughts and feelings without judgment. Section 7. The gentle art of seeing. This law of reflection does not ask you to become passive. It does not mean you should allow others to treat you poorly. It is not about accepting injustice. It is about seeing the world with clarity. When you understand that the world is a mirror, you can make wiser choices. You can see when you are reacting from an old wound, and when you are responding to the present moment with clarity. You can learn to distinguish between the reflection and the reality. This gives you a quiet power. You are no longer a puppet of your own unconscious feelings. The practice is simple, but it takes a lifetime. The next time you feel a strong emotion, pause. Anger, jealousy, irritation. Section 8. The law of the heart. The world is not a random collection of events and people. It is a living system of meaning. It is constantly speaking to us, showing us the path back to ourselves. The people we love and the people who challenge us are all our teachers. The moments of joy and the moments of pain are all lessons. The mirror is relentless. It does not lie. It simply shows what is. It judges you with perfect, impartial accuracy. It is only showing you your own judgment of yourself. The answers you seek are already there, reflected in the world you see every day. The universe is not against you. It is for you. It is designed to help you wake up,